Alright, much Abrew time. Playing some Obzedat's Vengeance in Modern. And looks like we're going to have to ship this one. Yeah, we can't keep this. If we had black mana instead of blue mana, I'd consider it. We are on the draw. I think we still get a mulligan. Ugh. Alright, we're going to keep this, but I'm not excited by it. Definitely putting Ghostad to the bottom. We do need lands, but we have a little bit of early game interaction. Opponent also went to 6. Hopefully we find a land or two. Also going to depend on the matchup. Signal Pest. Mox Opal. Is this like a blue Affinity deck? Darkslick Shores is a very good draw. So Darkslick Shores. Lead on Inquisition. I think we just got to take Edge Champion, since we can't deal with it, but we can path the Steel Overseer before it really does anything. So we might actually be okay. I don't think we're in that bad a shape, considering our opponent's hand is not very good. Their draw is Ornithopter, also not very good. So land, Steel Overseer. Opponent's empty-handed, and we might actually be in pretty good shape here. They can only hit us for 1 a turn, and we're a land away from Lingering Souls and pieces of the puzzle. Jace. Well, play Marsh Flats, crack Marsh Flats, get a Plains, and just pass Steel Overseer. We'd love to play Jace here, but we can't let our opponent activate Steel Overseer even once. Opponent does have a land to get. Well, let's see what they draw. Ravager is still pretty annoying. Plating is fairly annoying. It gets less annoying once we get to Lingering Souls mana, but for right now, we're taking 5. So ideally, we draw land, play Lingering Souls. Otherwise, we're stuck playing Jace and hoping. Alright. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Lingering Souls. Pass the turn. This lets us do some blocking. Still at a fairly high life total. Opponent attacks with both. Well, double block Ornithopter. Opponent can move over to Signal Pest, but then they just lose Ornithopter. Yeah, it's probably a bad plan. So we still have 2 spirits to kill Signal Pest next turn. Alright, opponent lets it go. We lose our spirits, they lose Ornithopter. Vault Scourge for our opponent. Drawing a land here would actually still be pretty good. Land means we could Lingering Souls, Flashback, and Jace. That would be ideal. Well, we gotta keep waiting. Flashback, Lingering Souls, pass the turn. So now we can block, hopefully. As long as our opponent doesn't draw anything awesome. Opponent goes attacking. Yeah, well, block and block. What did our opponent draw? Steel Overseer. Alright. Equips it up. So, removal spell would be great. Not ultimate price, though. Well, play Jace, pass the turn. Looks like we're going to have to take a hit here. Unfortunately. Ultimate price, super bad this matchup. Opponent gets in for 4. Yup. Hits us down to 8. And passes. Well, that's pieces of the puzzle. Take Path and Lingering Souls. Play Watery Grave, pass the turn. So now our main plan is to block and flip Jace, and then go on to win from there. Hopefully our opponent doesn't draw Galvanic Blast. Alright, Master of Ethereum is not deadly. We can deal with this so far. Opponent attacks. So block with Jace. Loot with Jace. Get rid of Ultimate Price, which is the deadest of dead cards. Flip Jace, take 0. Now I think we path. Flashback path. Play another Jace. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. And we actually have Obzedat mana next turn. Or Lingering Souls with Flashback. Opponent has an Ink Moth. Since they drew Ink Moth, I think it means we have to Lingering Souls to have blockers. Collective Brutality, not super helpful. So take up Jace. Lingering Souls. Flashback Lingering Souls. Pass the turn. Gonna hold on to the land because we might want to discard it. Now we have a ton of blockers, and our opponent scoops it up. Can't get through the Wall of Spirits. Well, that went pretty well, and that was game 1, which should be our hardest matchup against this deck, because we have 3 Stony Silences, also 3 Fragmentizes, which seem just like A++ cards in this matchup. We could even bring in Damnation if we wanted to. We gotta go down Ultimate Price. That is just a complete dead card. I think we go down most of our discard. Definitely the Thoughtseize. Murderous Cut's fine. Tassiger, Ghost Dad, Pieces, Vengeance, Brutality, Thought-Scour Servant, Path. Maybe we just go down all of our discard? The problem with discard in this matchup is it's so dead after turn 1, because our opponent gets empty-handed so quickly. And the main reason we would want discard would be to deal with, like, a cranial plating, and Fragmentize gives us a way to do that. Fragmentize is, like, super Path to Exile in this matchup. Just kills every single thing. No questions asked. I guess the question is, the one card I'm worried about is Etch Champion. That's one card that we just don't have a answer for, especially after we take out our discard. We could bring in Damnation, not guaranteed to work. We could also try Devour Flesh, which is so hit or miss. If our opponent's board is completely empty, it's good. Otherwise, it's not good. Maybe we go down Brutality for Damnation, just as a hedge. It seems so unlikely that we're actually going to be able to Devour Flash Etch Champion. I think we can try it like this. Let's try it like that. We have some pretty good I win sideboard cards. Alright. I mean, we'll try it. No answer to Etch Champion. Only 1 land, but lots of removal and Lingering Souls, which are both very good. Inkmoth, Springleaf Drum. Opponent passes. We are going to have to shock ourselves here, because we got to get a Hallowed Fountain. And Serum Visions. Ooh, land. I think we actually just keep all of our lands. Pass the turn. Blinkmoth Nexus. And Signal Pest. And fires up Inkmoth. Okay. This might mean we just get to play a Jace next turn. I think we do. Take our beats. Darkslake Shores. Run Jace out there. We shouldn't be able to die here. Seems pretty unlikely. Pass the turn. Another Inkmoth. Alright. Whip Flare takes care of our Jace. Fires up the Inkmoth. Down to... up to 2 poison. Well, Swamp, I think we just Lingering Souls. Opponent already used their Whip Flare. Pass the turn. Because next turn we can flashback Lingering Souls and Path or Fragmentize. Opponent has Master of Ethereum. Fires up an Inkmoth. Attacks. Well, we're just going to double block Signal Pest here. Double block Signal Pest. Take 3 more poison, up to 5. Fragmentize Master. Flashback Lingering Souls. Godless Shrine, untapped. I think it's worth paying 2 to leave up Path here. We don't want to get Whip Flared and then hit with a huge Inkmoth. They shouldn't have enough mana to equip it, but we're at 17. I think it's worth paying 2 there. Plus, we're going to gain back life with Obzedat pretty soon. Opponent has triple Inkmoth draw. Fires up an Inkmoth. Goes to combat. Attacks. Sure. We will block with a Spirit. That was a mistake. Should have double blocked with a Spirit, but oops. Hopefully we don't get punished for that. Definitely a misplay. Another Path. Well, I think it's time. I think we have enough safety that we can get down Ghost Dad. And this gives us a real legitimate threat. That's going to close out the game super quick. We're going to stay back with our Spirits. As long as we don't somehow die this turn, I feel like we're very favored to win. Citadel for our opponent. Fires up Ink Moth. Fires up Ink Moth. Goes to combat. Well, block and block. Should be able to kill one of them. Yeah, opponent pumps. Sure. But Obzedat's hitting for 7, essentially. Because we drain for 5. Get in, or drain for 2, get in for 5. Hit our opponent down to 10. And then we can just Lingering Souls. Dark Slick Shores, pass the turn. I think 1 Lingering Souls, leave up double path is better than just flashing back, especially since we've already seen a Whip Flare. Mox Opal. Our opponent's draw has not been very good. They kept 7. I'm a little surprised they kept this hand. Edge Champion. That is a good and scary one. Opponent passes. Well, we get back Obzedat, drain our opponent. Jace is good. Let's play Jace. And opponent's out of cards. Alright. We're going to flashback Lingering Souls. If our opponent top decks exactly Whip Flare, then that's not even that bad for us, actually. I mean, it's annoying. But it also means they don't really have a real threat, and we can path and infect creatures if we have to. Obzedat's pretty insane. I mean, so far we've played Jund, Abzan, and Affinity. 3 very tier decks, and we've actually just been crushing people. A lot of them haven't even been particularly close. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. Well, moving on past Affinity. Goryo's Vengeance is, jeez, reaping its vengeance on the top tier of the modern format. Sweet.
Thanks for watching the video. If you're subscribed, make sure to hit that bell icon to get notifications for all the latest videos. It's a great way to support the channel for free, and you can find the next video right here.